Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. As this is like the third time recording this because for some reason in the middle of it I get drowsy and stuff. I need to go to bed, but I do want to get this review done. My friend Mike OCP, he sent in a request for this. For anyone that wants to send in a paid request for me to review any type of movie, re-review, top it, tier list, ranking, commentary, random thoughts, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, whatever the case, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, this is for the 1996 film Eddie. Eddie, what have you done for me lately, Eddie? No, not that Eddie. Different Eddie, played by Whoopi Goldberg. Before I get into my thoughts on it, the plot, let's get into that. The plot of the film, Whoopi Goldberg is a big fan of the New York Knicks, basketball team that is not doing well. Guess most would say, most years the Knicks are not doing well. Although I think they were doing well during this time period actually, which is the irony of it. But in the movie they're not doing well. Their coach is played by Dennis Farina. May he rest in peace, great actor, character actor, did a lot of good movies. Loved Dennis Farina. He plays the coach. His assistant coach is Richard Jenkins. He was nominated for an Oscar for The Shape of Water. He was the dad in Step Brothers. You've seen Richard Jenkins around. And the players, they each have their problems, their issues, as we come to find out later, and the team's not doing well. So like I said, Whoopi Goldberg is a big fan. When she goes to the game, she's in the nosebleed section. And the new owner, played by Frank Langella, another good actor, he was Skeletor and the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie. He's done a lot of stuff. He's usually playing a villain, but he does do a good job at it. So one thing leads to another. Frank Langella sees that he sees a little something in Whoopi Goldberg. One thing leads to another. He makes up this deal to select 3 random people, because she's going to be one of them. If you make a free throw, you get to be an honorary coach of the day. She makes the free throw. She becomes the person who's with the coach and on the bench and stuff. Now, she doesn't really do anything. Like, she tries to talk and stuff, but she doesn't really get to say much. And then she gets mad. She puts her foot on the court. She gets a tap the toe. She's kicked out. Frank Langella sees this, and he's like, you know what? I see something in her. Now, the way he put it, oh, the crowd loves her. But I don't really know if that was the case, because they cheered when she made the free throw, but that's not because they know and like her specifically. It's just, oh, yeah, good sport. Hey, good job. Being supportive. And then being booed is, oh, man, that's a fan like us, and that fan's getting tipped out. Boo. But in between, it's not like she didn't really... If they were able to really showcase her comedic stand-up bits where she maybe cuts the other team out, and like the other team, she's like using all these insults on the team, trash talking, like the way people talk in White Men Can't Jump. So I forget who the Knicks were playing, but if she was like making fun of this person, say this, like did that kind of trash talk. And like, okay, they keep warning her, but she's technically not the coach. But yeah, that maybe could work. And then the crowd loves it, and then they love her personality, and then I can see why Frank Langella will look at her and go, oh, okay, something about. But anyway, she doesn't do any of that. Once in a while, she'll say a little bit here and there, and there's some fun energy, because as an actress, I do like Whoopi Goldberg as an actress. I'll get to that later. Anyway, Frank Langella, he sees something in her that the crowd, how they react to her. One thing leads to another. He says, you're going to join the team as one of the coaches. Dennis Farina doesn't like that, so he quits. So then Frank Langella goes, everybody, here's your head coach. The people, the crowd, they're confused by it. The players, they're embarrassed by it. Whoopi is excited, but she's doing her best. And you know where this is going. It is a very predictable film. Predictable in the fact of she's going to try, they're not going to listen. She's going to try, they're not going to listen. They're going to lose games. The crowd is going to be against her. What the hell's going on? She turns the wheels, turns things around, listens to the players, helps with their problems. They start winning, and then you get to the big game, and if they do this, they get to go further. Then they add this thing almost last minute, which I'll get to. Well, I'll just say now. They add this last scene where Frank Langella, like, for most of the movie, he's like a decent guy. He's treating Whoopi Goldberg well. He's like, I believe in you. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's rare to get to see Frank Langella. Now, I've seen this film before, so I knew what was coming now. But when I first saw this back in the day, I'm like, oh, cool. You know, he's usually the bad guy, Skeletor. He's a good guy. And it's like, no, of course not. If you get Frank Langella, 9 times out of 10, he's a bad guy. He was a bad guy in Cutthroat Island. Again, a Skeletor here. So there you go. He goes, yeah, whether you win or it's cool, it's going to be good when we go to St. Louis. Because he wants to move the team to St. Louis. And she's like, no, they're a New York team. And he says something to the effect of, I bought you for fun, wanted to have a circus, and you were my clown. I own you, all that stuff. So very quickly switches to a bad guy. So then the last game, they're playing it. Things are going well. Big speech. Tells the crowd what's going on. The crowd is pissed. They all get on the court. Frank Langella, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, I won't move the team. And then they win. They play the game and they win the game. Now, whether that means Frank Langella is going to keep Whoopi Goldberg as the coach, or he's going to sell it to someone else, or what comes after that, I don't know. You're not supposed to think about that, I guess. But it's a film that is a harmless time waster that I do think could have been a lot better. And that's my general thoughts on it. There's nothing in this that made me mad. There's nothing in this that made me angry. But I do think it's a film that because I like Whoopi Goldberg. Let's get to her first. I love Jumpin' Jack Flash. I think that's a very funny movie. You see this face? This is the face of a woman on the edge. Yeah, I know. My wife's got the same face of that. Yeah, you got two choices. Do you want to work here, or do you want to live? I love Jumpin' Jack Flash. My favorite Whoopi Goldberg film. I liked Sister Act, the first one, not so much the second one. I liked Ghost. Burglar, I could take or leave. Fatal Beauty, I think, is a bit underrated. But I liked Whoopi Goldberg. But this is a time when, number one, her films were not becoming as successful as they used to be. Sister Act 2 was not as successful as the first one. The Associate, I think that's what it's called, that did not do well. This did not do well. This flopped. She did a movie, I swear, something with wishes. Was it A Simple Wish? It was like her and was it Martin I can't remember what the movie was called now. It might have been called a different movie. Different title. Sorry. I thought Theodore Rex, and I didn't do that on purpose, but it almost killed me. Thinking about Theodore Rex almost killed me. The buddy cop film where she's a buddy cop with a dinosaur. Although, if you think about that movie, you'd be coughing, choking too. That was a big bomb. This movie's better than Theodore Rex. This movie's better than The Telephone. The less said about that movie, the better. But her films were not doing well. I think that's one of the reasons why she eventually went to The View. I'm not going to get into The View, because the less said about that, the better. To me, at least. Because I go off track, off a tangent. Getting back to this. This film has 6 writers. Now, when your film has 6 writers, I'm sitting there going, really? What about this film made it that there were 6 writers? Screenplay by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, really? So that means there was a lot of rewriting going on. Fine-tuning, as they call it. Rewriting. That means maybe the jokes got more bland and the script got more sanitized, and if there's edge to the script that was taken off, I would assume so. I would bet money. Because when you have that many writers, that means there's going to be a lot of studio saying, well, can she do this? Can you have that? Can you do this instead? Can you instead do this? Because why else would you have 6 writers? But anyway. And it's directed by Steve Rash. Now, I don't mind some of this guy's films. He did Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore, which I actually enjoy. Sadly, that does not have a Blu-ray. Held Up with J.B. Fox, I thought was a fun film. This, I love basketball, so I love the backdrop of the basketball sequences. It's a cool backdrop. I'm a sucker for it because I like the sport. So that is a backdrop that makes it easy for me to be entertained by. There's snippets of Whoopi showing a little bit of her energy. For example, there's a bit where there's this guy, they're looking for dancers, and then they pick this one guy dancing, and he can really pull some moves, and she's looking at the guy going, hey, why don't you flex your ass to my room later on? And sometimes the bits you see in the trailer, if you watch the trailer, she takes out a ref's wig, hairpiece, throws it, and Fabio, not my friend, but I can't believe it's not Butter Fabio, he actually grabs it. There's some NBA cameos. Like I said, John Sally, who is on the Detroit Pistons, he's one of the players on the New York Knicks in the movie. Larry Johnson, he's in the movie at the end with the Charlotte Hornets. He was a basketball player. Dennis Rodman makes a cameo where she makes fun of his hair. But, a lot of the jokes seem either really obvious or just, again, they felt as if they went through, like, too many rewrites, and it's like, well, I guess this is it. Like, one of the things is when she's yelling at Dennis Farina before she's the new coach. She's like, I don't know why they keep letting you in here. NBA, no butt heads allowed. I'm like, okay, yeah, no NBA, no buttheads. Okay. But you're like, is that really the best? And like I say, it goes through the motions pretty generically. You don't have the people doubting her. She don't doubt herself. There's going to be the player who is older than the rest, a little bit of a mentor, help her out. How to work with the other players. There's one guy who has relationship problems. There's one guy who talks in third person, is a bit of a ball hog. There's one guy who can barely speak English, so she has to try to communicate with him. And it's one of those things. I'm watching the film, and it's kind of, you're just sitting there and you go, and then you're looking up email, and you go, and then as it's playing on the computer, then you look up something on the internet, like a website, okay. And then you're doing this, then you're getting your water, then you're checking your phone, and it's nothing that memorable. It doesn't have the raw vocabulary energy of White Man Can't Jump, or even Major League. And it's not that hilarious. I mean, it's a pretty good cast. Frank Langella, I think turning him into a bad guy almost last minute felt like last minute. It felt like a draft late in the game. We gotta have something at the end. It can't just be whether they win the game or not. So let's throw this subplot. Maybe that's Frank Langella. The anatomy, the bug. Try to flap my nose. Whoopi! What have you done for me lately? It's Whoopi's spy. So one of her dreadlocks flew off. Right over to here. The dreadlock broke out and spread wings and tried to fly up my nose. Not even shitting on the movie. Whoopi. But, I mean, White Man Can't Jump, Major League, there's better sports comedies, sports films out there. But yeah, this is one of those things where it's hard to talk about. That's why I'm fumbling, because it's kind of just there as a comedy. It goes through the motions. Frank Langella, K-Fly, can I talk about it? Okay. Frank Langella, as I was saying, you didn't need him. You did not need to make him a bad guy. I said they came off just last minute, and then they all get together and do this big speech. I like when she says, "So what are you going to do?" And I'm like, "Lie." They don't go up and lie. I said, "No, I'm not going to do it." Then they win the game. He's got more money. Then he sells it. Bye-bye, lard ass. That's what he'll do. He'll lie. He'll go, "I changed my mind. Yes, I did say that, but with further communication, it felt like the best thing to do." I mean, he's a guy who's rich, and he'll be fine. He'll get the money, and then he'll go off and do another thing. So that's the thing. He could just very well lie and, just, 2 days, 2 weeks later, sell the team. But anyway, that's why it just feels like it just comes off kind of last minute, and you don't really feel much drama, suspense from it. Richard Jenkins, he's the associate coach, and he coaches a little bit in the third act of the film, but I felt like a lot more could have been done with his character. I felt like you could have done more setting up where she'll be the intermediate. By the time this is done, she'll be gone, but Richard Jenkins will be the coach, and you'll be in good hands. And then Richard Jenkins really shows what he could do and how he could coach. It's like, yeah, Richard Jenkins is a really good coach. But you don't really get that. Like, he does one little thing, talk it, but they didn't really follow through that plot line as much as they could have. Trying to think. There's another... even the comedy just kind of dissipates halfway through. I mean, okay, she gets some nice clothes. There's a bit you see in the trailer where she looks at the people in the shower. She laughs. Kind of walks away. Yeah, I didn't think Frank Langella needed to be a villain. Dennis Farina, I kind of wish was in the movie more. I actually think it would have been fun if you had like Whoopi Goldberg and Dennis Farina going toe to toe throughout the entire season. They're going toe to toe, and they snipe back and forth. You really just really go at it. You two just go back and forth, make fun of each other. They're still there because they only the guy will get them fired. He's not going to quit. He's not, but you know, and they go back and forth, and maybe that back and forth tension can get really some funny laughs and some good chemistry and hostile chemistry. But you don't really get that. It's something about it that just feels a bit sanitized. It is PG-13. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg can work in PG-13, but just I think the script is just very, after 6 writers, just got kind of been there, done that. You've seen this done all before, probably seen it all done better before. Even, football comedies that get the replacements with Keanu Reeves, and I mentioned, even, what was it? There was a baseball movie where a little kid got to, what the hell was that movie called? Was it Little Big League? I can't remember. Just I keep getting that confused with Rookie of the Year. But even that, you kind of seen that kind of stuff before. So it didn't do anything that new. It didn't do anything that memorable. It kind of just went by the numbers and played it very, very safe from beginning to end. And I just didn't see anything that... It was harmless. Like, stuff I'm going through here... Again, there's the players. There's a guy who says his name in third person. And eventually, he is in his limo. He goes to play street ball with this guy. And then his mom shows up. Because Whoopi Goldberg called the guy's mom on him to tell him stop being a ball hog. She yells at the team at one point because they're ignoring kids. She helps them individually. She helps the one guy with his language, and there's a joke where he does a commercial for Hooked on Phonics. She benches the ball hog and gets John Sally to play. Like I said, you see in the trailer, there's a bit. She throws the ref's hairpiece, and I can't believe it's not butter. Fabio, he catches it. Oh, Donald Trump does make a cameo. Because they're talking to the people, it's now that they're succeeding, and Donald Trump goes, it was my idea all along. They won 1 game, then 2 games, then 3 games, and they win more games, and it's kind of like a quick montage. The basketball scenes, I think they're fine. There's nothing that remarkable about them, but they're fine. I didn't see anything that bad about them. I like the basketball atmosphere. I mean, it's hard for me to get mad at that because basketball is my favorite sport. I don't get to watch as much as I used to. In fact, I haven't seen a full game in the longest time. I'll see like snippets here and there. But I've been so far out of it, I couldn't tell you a thing about basketball players today. But I remember watching stuff back to the day and really enjoying it. The days of Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls. I remember seeing that stuff, and that was fun. So I'm a sucker for that. It's just like a 5.2 and IMDb, and I think that's a fair rating. Or even like a 5 out of 10. Because it's nothing that makes me mad or angry. It's harmless, but it's nothing that hilarious or memorable. So it's kind of in the middle for me. So again, at the third act, they're winning the game. They're playing the game. Halftime, or whatever, they come out. The crowd comes out. They ask Frank Langella, "What are you going to do?" He's like, "The team is staying here." Again, he could just lie 2 minutes, 2 days later, but whatever. They play the game, they win the game, they win the game because Larry Johnson on the Charlotte Hornets, who they're playing against, the foreign guy, Ivan, he had a bad habit of moving around and not taking the charge. But he stands firm, he takes the charge, a charge is called, so the basket don't count, so the Knicks win. And I think they go to like the playoffs or such. And there you go. And you don't really know what happens next. I mean, does Whoopi Goldberg stay as the coach? Do they even win the finals? Do they win the championship? Do Richard Jenkins become the new coach? You don't know about any of that. They bring up her limo job at the beginning, and then that's completely forgot, which I guess makes sense because she's doing this new job. She has like a female friend, but the female friend is kind of a nothing character. She just kind of pops up whatever she wants to. Whether she's there with her at the nosebleed seats or watching her get fancy clothes. But she's not even really a character. I don't even remember her damn name. Helping the players, pretty flimsy. Okay, he tells this one guy, tell her I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I guess that works because the next thing, him and the wife are back together. The problems seem to be fixed pretty quickly. So I said this time, I mean, I'm sorry for floundering, but it's just not a whole lot to talk about. Harmless comedy, but doesn't do anything that original or creative or memorable or unpredictable. It plays it very safe. And like I said, I mean, the final thing I'll say is, I don't think this used Whoopi Goldberg's talents to the best of their abilities. I think that's one of the big, other than the script being very generic, Whoopi Goldberg, her humor is kind of subdued or handcuffed in a way. You see little snippets here and there, but then other times doesn't really get to showcase much. She doesn't really get to use it much. And I don't know, I mean, take that for you will. And you know what, the last thing I'll do, I'll look up her filmography. She was in like Ghost and Sister Act and Loaded Weapon 1, one of the voices in The Lion King, Star Trek Generations. But yeah, Theodore Rex, Eddie, Bogus. Was that the film I was thinking of? Maybe that's the film I was thinking of, Bogus. Yeah, I think that's the film I was thinking of. I don't know why I said A Simple Wish. Bogus is the one I'm thinking of. With Haley Joel Osment. But yeah, Bogus didn't do anything. The Associate didn't do anything. Then she did these films like an Alan Smithy film where she was next to Sylvester Stallone and Jackie Chan. And she did like TV stuff. Again, she was in Rat Race. Yeah, stuff. More and more stuff there. Anyway, voice work. I always forget she was in the 2014 Ninja Turtle film. Holy shit, I always forget about that. Yeah, she's in the 2014 Ninja Turtles film as April's boss. Wow. But anyway, yeah, it's not a simple wish. It was bogus. Just the whole fucking movie was bogus. Didn't even remember it. Anyway, 30 minutes. Too long to talk about this fucking film, but it is what it is. You know me. I always go long-winded on shit. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.